Hello, everyone. Welcome to my live session today. I am just going to wait for a few people to join in before I begin with the session. I'd also wait for my team to join in and confirm whether I'm clear and audible to them before I really get into the topic for today. So, team, if you are joining in, if you can hear me, I would request you all to confirm whether I'm live. I can see some people joining in. Team, could you please confirm if I'm live and I'm audible? All right, we've got confirmation from Mr. Vinayak, who has said that I'm live and audible. So I am going to then proceed with the session. Hopefully, my team will also join in shortly. So I would just like to welcome you all. I'm Navya Sikka, and I've come on live today. Those of you who were expecting Tulika Mehra today on the live, well, unfortunately, she will not be able to make it. She's feeling a little bit under the weather. So I have decided to be the good friend that I am to her and step in on her behalf. But don't be disheartened, because I will try my best to do justice to what she was expected to talk about, which was essentially the much coveted and talked about skilled migrant category residence visa. So for those of you who are new to the session, much like Toleka Mehra, I too am a licensed immigration advisor, working for what I believe to be one of the best education and migration consultancies, which is HAV Services Limited. We do not believe in swindling people off of their money. We work in a truly ethical fashion and provide completely honest, I'd say sometimes even brutally honest advice. And that, I think, is what truly sets us apart from any other consultancy. So me and my fellow LI, Tulika Mehra, we do come live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday to speak to our clients and other prospective clients as well, and to answer any doubts or questions that any of you may have with regards to migration to New Zealand. So I do sincerely hope that these sessions do prove to be fruitful to you and useful for you, and that they end up enlightening you in a little bit in a little bit of a way with regards to New Zealand's immigration policies. So before I delve into the session, there are just some quick rules to the session that I would like to outline. All right, my team has also confirmed that I'm loud and clear on Facebook, so that's great. So yeah, I'd request those of you who are watching the session, and those of you who do have any kind of questions or queries, to keep posting your comments in the comment section on Facebook or on YouTube, and I will be eventually addressing them during the course of the session. I will request you to be patient. I will get to the each and every question. I'll try my best to answer them, but first I will be talking a little bit about the topic that we've planned out for today. I would also request those of you who are already working with us to mention, that you are AJV clients or that you're AJVians. And those of you who are not yet working with us, I would request you to kindly leave your contact details or your number, your email ID perhaps. And, that's just because we would love to connect with you once the session is over, because I will only be able to provide you with brief advice at this moment over a public platform such as Facebook and YouTube. But we would also like this interaction to go further than that and connect you to one of our team members, so you can have that one-on-one time as well, and really tell them about your plans of migrating to the country. Right, so I will also be using this opportunity to show you all my license card. This has been issued to me by the Immigration Advisors Authority, which basically demonstrates that I am competent enough to provide immigration advice under supervision. And with that, I shall now begin by talking about the skilled migrant category residence visa. Now, there are a couple of pathways, to residence available to people who do intend on migrating to New Zealand. You do have the study and settle pathway, you have the residence from work pathway, and then, of course, you've got the opportunity to apply for residence directly through the skilled migrant category residence visa. Now, while this may sound like a tempting option at first, it's not always that easy to meet the requirements under this category. So what are the requirements under this category? First and foremost, you need to meet a total of 160 points, and these are points that can be claimed on the basis of various factors such as your age, your previous qualification, your work experience, and even your spouse's previous qualification. Secondly, you also need to have an offer of skilled employment, or you need to have completed a 2 year course which leads to a master's or a doctorate. Now, it is possible for people to meet the 160 points mark, particularly, if you're in your 30s, if you've done a master's qualification, if you have about 8 to 10 years of work experience, and if your spouse has also done a master's qualification, then it is possible to meet that 160 mark. However, people usually get stuck with the second point or the second requirement, which basically requires you to have a skilled job offer. Now, if you're overseas, I'm assuming that you've not completed a 2 year course that leads to a master's or a doctorate. So I'm going to talk more about the job offer aspect of it. Now, such people find it difficult to find job offers primarily because New Zealand employers naturally prefer to offer employment to people who are already based within the country. This is essentially because it is much simpler for an employer to employ someone who already has valid work rights in the country. Now, we do know how much the country values its international students. And of course, it's evident from the very student-friendly post-study work visa policies, that the country does offer. So you do have a lot of skilled migrants, with years of experience going into the country for perhaps a 1 year master's course, for example, and then they get a post-study work visa, which pretty much allows them to work for any employer in any region and in any role. So year on year, employers have the opportunity to offer jobs, to the post-study work visa holders who have a lot of skill and experience behind them to take on the role. And they'd rather do that than spend the time, money, investment that they need in order to support an applicant in another country who perhaps wasn't even able to come in for a personal interview. Moreover, the work visa processing timeframe can take sometimes, about 3 to 4 months or even longer. There are a lot of extensive checks that are involved during the processing of a work visa application as well. So all of these factors usually tend to encourage employers to offer the job to clients who are already in the country with valid work rights. So it's not that the employers will be offering jobs to only New Zealanders, but they prefer to offer the jobs to people who do have valid work visas and are in the country. And there are an abundant number of people who, have those rights. So basically, if you don't have a job offer, the option for direct residency automatically gets ruled out. So what's your next option? A lot of clients do ask us if you can go to the country on an open work visa without a job offer and then find a job in New Zealand and apply for residency. The answer is yes, you can do that. But once again, like before, the process is not very simple. So to explain it succinctly, pretty much every work visa category on your own merit requires a job offer, except for two of them, which is a post-study work visa, which is only available to students, of course, or the skilled migrant category job search visa. Now, this is another category of visa that is, that a lot of applicants do come to us asking about. So the skilled migrant category job search visa is something that is available to those who do meet the 160 points mark, but who do not have a job offer in hand. This visa basically allows you to go into the country, find yourself a job within a period of 12 months, and then apply for residency. Now, while it's doable, it's also not a hugely popular option amongst clients, primarily because of the processing timeframes. The processing timeframe for this work visa in itself is about 14 to 18 months. On top of that, it also involves you, it requires you to lodge an expression of interest. The EOI needs to be selected from the pool, and then you have a period of 4 months to actually lodge your application with the proper documentation. So the entire process of, only getting into the country in itself may take about 2 years. All right. Now, keeping in mind the above issues, as advisors, it's our responsibility to find a way around this and make the process of migration faster, simpler, and less cumbersome for our clients. And that is what brings me to the study and settle pathway. So number one, of course, this doesn't require you to have a job offer. It does, of course, require you to have an offer of place from an institute, which is fairly easy to obtain. You do, of course, need to have the will and the dedication to complete a course, perhaps for a year or a year and a half. So you do need to show that genuineness to study as well. It's not simply a matter of just getting an offer of place, getting into the country, and somehow managing to complete the course, because these courses can be intensive as well, especially if you are planning to undertake a master's course. Now, a student visa would allow you to enter the country almost right away. So that's one of the benefits of going down this pathway. Because while the processing time frame for a SMC residence or a job search visa is about 14 to 18 months, like I mentioned before, for a student visa, it's only about a month or 2 months. So you can start your life in the country at the earliest. What's also great is that while the SMC job search visa has a duration of only 12 months, the student visa for a course level 8 or higher will make you eligible for a 3-year post study work visa. And that's fabulous because it gives you a lot more time to find yourself a job and then go on from there to apply for a residency. So I think that makes a huge difference. 12 months versus 3 years is definitely a considerable difference. And that's one of the primary reasons also why people choose to go down this pathway, because it just allows them more time to find themselves a suitable job to eventually go on and apply for their residency. A lot of people are concerned, of course, about the tuition fees and how they'll manage their expenses while studying. Well, you do have part-time work rights on your student visa, so that does allow you to work up to 20 hours a week, and you will receive a guaranteed minimum wage of 18.90 New Zealand dollars per hour, and that's enough to take care of your living expenses. So, the time that you spend studying, you can also it can also be used by you to create those professional networks and to engage with various employers who are often called on campus by the educational institutes. In fact, a lot of the courses have elements of research or project work or internships within them, which will require you to engage with employers. And more often than not, these employers end up hiring you once you've completed the course. So, going down the study pathway also pretty much guarantees you a job as well. And on top of that, of course, you end up with a local qualification in the country, which will, of course, be appreciated by the New Zealand employers. And other than that as well, these qualifications are all internationally recognized. Now, the study plus settle option is especially great for families wanting to migrate together, because it allows one person to study on a student visa for perhaps a master's course, and the spouse can then apply for a work visa. This will also be an open work visa and will allow the spouse to work for any employer. The children too can then be brought into the country on student visas and will not have to pay international fees. And this is a huge incentive. They will be considered, the children will basically be considered as domestic students, and the school fees will be negligible. We've actually had clients, in fact, who went through with this process where the wife started her course in New Zealand and the husband got a work visa. Their children got student visas as domestic students. And the husband actually ended up finding a great job within, say, a month or two of actually landing in the country. And then he becomes a primary applicant and applies for the residence visa. So it really works out well. So yeah, those are just the different pathways available to you, if you find the process of a skilled migrant category cumbersome, or if you're not meeting the requirements for that category. There are actually a lot of people, who very well meet the requirements, but still go down the study and settle pathway because of all the reasons that I just listed. Regardless, however, this is just a reiteration that New Zealand is in need of skilled migrants and welcomes them with open arms. So if you are interested in the skilled migrant category, you can always drop your number here and connect with us. You can also book an appointment with, one of the LIs, including myself, on our website, which is www.ajvglobal.com. You can book an appointment for an initial consultation, and we would be happy to assess your profiles for you and guide you on the best way forward. So that's just it, about the skilled migrant category and alternate pathways as well that are available to you. And I'm just going to quickly flip over and see if any questions have come in right now, or if there are any comments from my team as well, for that matter. All right, so we do have a couple of messages. We have a message from Vinayak who said, hi, you're live and audible. Hi, Vinayak, nice to have you on this live session. I'm glad you're watching. And if you have any queries, please feel free to post them here and I'll be happy to assist you with that. There's a message from Butterflies. There's a message from Vinay Gopi Kumar, Yuvraj, Amina, Senu. There seem to be a lot of viewers. That's great. All right. We have a message from Nadesan, and Nadesan has, okay, I'm not sure, Nadesan, if you are a client. It would be great if you could mention that. You seem to be based in New Zealand already, if I'm not mistaken. You've written, "Hi team, I want to know some information. Can you please help me? I have 3 years work visa. I got PTE 54 score. Is it enough to get the permanent residence?" All right, Nadesan, so thanks for your query. All right, if you are already, I'm guessing you're on a post-study work visa right now, so that's great. Um, so basically, the overall requirement for IELTS, I think, is a 6.5 for your skilled migrant category residence visa, and that would probably translate to a score of 58 to 64 on the PTE. So that is something that you might, want to look at. However, it would be great if you could connect with us and we could guide you further on this and, help assess whether you can meet the requirements for skilled migrant category or not. Of course, there's a lot more to it than just the English language requirements. Another thing is that, I mean, if you are on a post-study work visa, I would also assume that you completed a qualification in New Zealand, and if it was a high-level qualification, it's also possible that you may not need to submit your IELTS at all, and that they will waive off the English language requirement for you. So we'll really need to, kind of get a clear picture on these factors before we can advise you on this. I would definitely request you to leave your number, and we will be happy to provide you with more information. Thank you. All right. So our next question is from Toz, who's actually the daughter of one of our clients, Ziska, who has asked, when do you think New Zealand will accept student visa applications? Toz, thank you so much for writing in that query. I know a lot of people are actually wondering about, when Immigration New Zealand will start accepting student visa applications. They are actually, the system is, I think, allowing us to lodge applications, but the website does advise us not to do so until there is complete clarity on when the borders are opening. So what's great is that the education minister has recently stated that they are planning to open up the borders to international students, at least a small cohort of them, towards the end of this year, and they will build upon that further, during beginning of next year. So, like I'd mentioned in my session, international students are really valued by the government. Education institutions are also putting that kind of pressure on the New Zealand government to make provisions to, allow basically foreign students to enter the country. So that is happening. It's possible that, they might be arranging for some quarantine facilities as well. So let's see how things go. But it is anticipated that the beginning of next year, definitely the borders should open. And if that's to happen, then, of course, they will also need to make provisions to process student visa applications. Of course, now another factor is also that, we need the Immigration New Zealand office here in Mumbai to open up as well, so that the processing of, clients who are based in India and surrounding countries can continue. So yes, let's see how things go. Hopefully, it will be positive, and we'll just kind of keep you posted. And that's what we have these live sessions for every week, so that we can give you those weekly updates and really kind of reassure you as well that things are looking up. Thanks a lot for posting your query. All right, so we have a message from uh, Sanus. I'm not sure if that's your name or if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but you've not really shared your number. So I would definitely request you to share your number, and that would really help us to connect with you further post the session. But anyways, to answer your question, I think you're asking something about agricultural courses. So New Zealand is an agricultural, based economy, and there are ample amount of options for agriculture graduates. So food technologists and food scientists are, in fact, in great demand in New Zealand. So your future will be bright if you choose to pursue a course in New Zealand, in this field. New Zealand also has a course in precision agriculture, is what my team tells me, which is a new course which promotes technology in the field of agriculture. So if this sounds interesting at all to you, we would be happy to assist you. And for that, you will, however, need to leave your number so that we can connect with you post this session. Thank you so much. All right. The next question is from Reno Johnson. Any recent update on SMC visa processing? Are they taking up applications from general queue? All right, Reno, thank you for posting your query once again. Guys, this is just a reminder to all those who are on the session. We love to provide advice to all of you. This is free advice at the end of the day from a licensed professional. But in return, the only thing we're asking of you is to provide your contact details to us so that we can connect post this session. And we're not going to be bombarding you with calls or anything of the sort. We promise you that. It's just so that you have your queries, and we would also like for them to be answered properly and not just over this public portal. So I would recommend that you leave your number so that I can connect with you, post the session, or one of my team members can connect with you post the session. Anyway, to answer your question, basically the processing on residence visa applications actually resumed in May. I think 14th May is when they, started processing the residence visa applications. Of course, they are prioritizing applications of those who are onshore. And within those applications as well, they're further prioritizing applicants who are getting a pay of 51 New Zealand dollars and above, which is I think twice the median wage, and applicants who have occupational registration, who are in an occupation that requires a registration. So those are the applications that they are prioritizing. However, that doesn't mean that they've stopped assessing the general applications that don't fall under this priority list. They are doing that, but that will just happen as per the allocation date. So if there were applications that were lodged prior to yours, I'm not sure if you've lodged your application, but they will be picked out before yours, and you will just have to wait for that. All right. But like I said, it would be great if you could leave us your number. We would love to work with you. And if, you do want to work with us, we can represent you and we can get an exact update, an accurate picture of what's happening with your application. So if that's something that you're looking for, then please do leave your number and we will connect with you. Thank you. All right. So we have our next question from Deepak Pas. Okay, sorry. We do have a message from Arpit Loya saying, hi, I'm in touch with Mariam Hussain. Hi, Arpit. Thank you so much for watching this live session and coming on here today. We truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate that you chose to work with our company. I hope you're getting great guidance, which I'm sure you are. Mariam is a great advisor as well. So, just stay in touch and, hopefully we'll be able to assist you in all possible ways. All right. Deepak has written, just going to have some water. All right. Deepak has written, hi, ma'am. Can you please tell me what jobs come under in skilled category? Like I'm hospitality student, now level 7, what I need for residence pathway. Okay, Deepak, there is no restriction on the jobs per se that come under the skill migrant category residence pathway. All right. You could have a high skill level job, or you could even have a low skill level job, but then your remuneration will need to be higher. All right. So for high skill level jobs, you will require a pay of $25.50 per hour, but for lower skill level jobs, you'd require a pay of around $38 per hour to apply for your residence visa. Otherwise, there's no restriction per se on the occupation, and of course, there are a variety of occupations in the hospitality industry that, you can choose from depending upon the kind of course that you complete. You can get into housekeeping or, the front of house, hotel receptionist, front desk operations manager, room attendants, adventure specialist. There are a lot of opportunities basically in the hospitality industry. So it's a great industry to get into, specifically in a country like New Zealand that really values the hospitality sector. So so yeah, definitely get in touch with us. Leave us your contact details, and we can provide you with more guidance post the session then. All right. We have a message from Arpit Loya, who is our client, and has written, also I'm a friend. Okay, okay. All right, so you said in case your profession or field of study is not listed in the short or, okay, in the long-term skill shortage list is what I'm assuming you're trying to say. Is it not possible for a future after masters in New Zealand, example, masters of business, marketing, sales? I'm a fresher, graduated 2020, no experience yet. Arpit, thank you so much for posting your question, and it's very relevant. And I think it's something that a lot of clients do wonder about. That okay, my occupation or my field of study doesn't fall under the long-term skill shortage list. Does that mean that I will not get a job in New Zealand? The answer to that is not at all. You still have abundant opportunities for work in the country. All right, the long-term skill shortage list, yes, it is a list developed by the government of New Zealand, anticipating the demand in certain professions on an ongoing and sustained demand for certain professions. But that aside, that does not in any which way mean that there is no demand for people in other professional fields or areas. So in fact, marketing and sales is great. All right, especially from a residence perspective, because and even if you do not have any prior experience, because you don't need to get a managerial level role post completion of your course, especially in marketing and sales, to apply for residence. There are a lot of alternate options as well, which is something that you will probably get, in fact, once you complete the course. So once you've completed the course, and if you don't have previous experience, you're unlikely to get a managerial level role per se, right? But that doesn't matter, because there are a lot of other roles as well in sales and marketing that will make you eligible for a residence visa, so you don't have to worry at all. And of course, every company requires a marketing department. That is literally the backbone of any company. So there is enough demand for marketing and sales professionals. So if you're going ahead with a business course, I would say go right ahead and don't think twice about it. All right. Thank you so much for posting your question, and I hope I was able to answer your question. Thank you. All right. So Boss has written, thank you very much for your feedback. You're most welcome. Shalu Aneja has written, hi ma'am, could you please advise about partnership visa? All right, Shalu, you do not seem to have provided your number. I would really request you to provide your number so that we can give you more advice. Again, partnership visas are a category of visas that only licensed immigration advisors like myself can give you advice on. Of course, I'm not too sure what kind of advice you're looking for, specific to the partnership visa. But we do have a team handling partnership visas as well. And we have a really high success rate, for approvals of partnership visas. So I would recommend that you leave your number here, or just perhaps if you don't want to leave your number, you can message us as well. Personal message us, direct message us, and we will get in touch with you and find out more about what you are really looking for. All right. Okay, so we have a message from Mohammed Ghani, who has written, "Hello, Mrs. Hope you're fine." And okay, I'm from Afghanistan. I did MBA, and I'm a university lecturer here. So I want to apply for a PhD to get permanent residencies. So need your help and guidance. Hi, Mohammed. Thanks a lot for posting your question. So yes, if you do complete a 2 years course in New Zealand, which leads to a PhD, you can actually apply for residency then. And but the process, of course, of enrolling yourself in a PhD course can be slightly complex. You do have to prepare a research proposal. If it's in an area of future growth in New Zealand, that would be even more beneficial. All right, if you do have some publications already, that would be great as well. And then, of course, we can shortlist some universities for you. You will have to, we can take out a list of supervisors. You will then have to get in touch with the supervisor, who will have to, agree to work with you, and that's when we can, begin the admission process. However, I think there is one university, which is University of Waikato, which does not require you to get in touch with the supervisor first. So that's also an option that we can consider. But yeah, there are several options if you do want to, if you're really interested in pursuing a PhD. But I would require you to leave your number for that so that we can connect with you and provide you with more information around that. So Mohammed, request you to leave your number and we will definitely get in touch with you. Thank you. Yvette Rodriguez has written, is visa available? Yes, visas are available. That's a very general question. I'm not really sure what exactly you're looking for, but you've left your number, so we will connect with you and understand better what it is that you're looking for. But thank you for attending this live session and connecting with us today. Okay, I'm quickly going to switch over to YouTube as well because I'm only focusing on Facebook right now, and there seem to be a lot of questions. So I'll just see if I can answer anything on YouTube as well, and then get back to Facebook. All right. So we have a message from Shamsher S, who said, "Hello, ma'am. If we get a high-paid relevant job during post-study visa, can we change it to SMC visa, or we have to complete post-study visa duration?" Hi, Shamsher. Thank you so much for posting that question, and that's a great question. So basically, you are not required to complete the duration of your post-study work visa. So if you do end up finding yourself a great job, which meets the pay requirement, and you're suitably qualified for that role, and you meet the 160 points, you can pretty much immediately apply for a residence visa. So that doesn't really, there is no restriction there that you do have to kind of wait for that 3-year period and only then apply for a skilled migrant category residence visa. So that is not a requirement. You can apply within a month or within a week or whatever it is, as soon as you do meet the requirements for the residence visa. All right, I hope that answers your query. There is a message from Reddy Prakash who said, "Can we get PR by studying undergraduate course in New Zealand?" Reddy Prakash, thank you so much for your question. So like I'd mentioned in my live session, that it would have to be, if you're looking for direct residency, then it would have to be a 2-year course leading to a master's or a doctorate. All right. However, if you pursue an undergraduate course, you will still be eligible for a post-study work visa. All right. And once you get that post-study work visa, if you do find yourself a job which meets the requirements, like the pay requirements, and it is a skilled offer of employment, and you meet the 160 points mark, then you can definitely apply for your residence visa. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. All right, we have a message from Prashu Radha. Are civil engineers, construction management still in shortage? Yes, most definitely. Civil engineers and other construction professionals like quantity surveyors and project managers, they do fall under the long-term skill shortage list, which is, like I'd mentioned, a list prepared by the New Zealand government, basically to kind of outline the professions where they anticipate an ongoing and sustained demand. So there are great opportunities for professionals in the field of construction. New Zealand is undergoing a construction boom at the moment. Of course, the Canterbury region was also hit by an earthquake a few years ago, so there's a lot of construction going on there. There's also been a lot of influx of population into the country, which has led to the increase in construction of residential buildings as well. So there is great demand for civil engineers and construction professionals, and if you're looking, to work in that area, I would definitely recommend it. And please do leave your number so we can get in touch with you and guide you on the best possible way to start a career in that field. Thank you. All right, we have a question from Joel, who has said, how is the IT field going on? The IT field is also great. Once again, engineers and IT professionals, there is great demand for them, and there are not enough people to actually, kind of fulfill the demand that is currently there in New Zealand for professionals in this field. So, you do have software engineers and ICT analysts, business analysts, quality analysts, all of these professions are in great demand in the country. So if that is what your background is like, I would definitely recommend you to perhaps look at a course in a similar, in a similar field, and that will lead you to great work opportunities for sure. All right, Sachin has written to us. Hi Navya, trust all is well with you. Nina and I are AJB clients. Hi Sachin, great to know that you've chosen to work with AJB. To claim points under work experience under SMC, does the previous work experience need to match with the occupation I'm claiming points for? Not necessarily. However, it would be great if we could talk about this on call as well. These things can have certain layers to them as well. But in short, I would say not necessarily. You can claim points for certain work experience, and perhaps you pursue a course in New Zealand and then you go on to find another job. And what's important, of course, is that the job that you do find in New Zealand, you should be suitably qualified for that by way of your prior qualification and work experience. So I hope that answers your question. And if not, we would be happy to have a chat with you as well over call post the session, and I can provide you with more information around that. So Prashu has once again asked, taught masters will get us a 3-year post-study work visa, right? Yes, that is correct, Prashu. A master's course will give you a 3-year post-study work visa. And like I said, that is ample amount of time for you to find yourself a good job, to later on apply for residency as well. Harini has asked, please repeat the university name where you don't need to approach the supervisor for PhD admission. So you will eventually, I think, have to get in touch with the supervisor, but you can start the admission process before doing that. Whereas in other universities, first you need to get in touch with the supervisor and then only does the admission process begin. So that's the difference. But the university's name was University of Waikato. And if you want more information on that, please do leave your number so our team can give you more details on that. Thank you. All right. Everyone who's watching this session, just a reminder again, please do leave your contact details. You are leaving your questions. I'm happy to answer each and every question of yours. I hope I'm also answering them to your satisfaction. But in return, all I ask of you is to leave your contact details. So if you could do that, that would be great. I'm just going to check if my team has anything to say so far. Nothing as such. All right. Okay, Mr. Malik has written, I completed my MBA. Mr. Malik, it would be great if you could leave your number. I'll go ahead and answer your question anyway. I completed my MBA from India in 2015. Since then, I'm working in a company. So after completion of PG, can I still have any chance to get study visa? Yes, of course. We do have people who've done their MBAs and who have still applied for a course in New Zealand. That's where basically our role as advisors, comes in to make your cover letter strong and to explain to the immigration officer exactly why your reasoning for pursuing a course in New Zealand is justified in spite of having completed a master's course in India. So it entirely depends on how your application is presented, and that's where our role as advisors also comes in. But we've had a lot of applicants who've done a master's level course and then they've pursued another master's course in New Zealand as well. So you don't need to worry about that, and just leave your number and we can connect with you and guide you further on that. Thank you. All right, we have a question. So we got a thanks from Sachin. We got a thanks from Harini. We have a message from Harshil saying 2020 pass out and have MSc Organic Chemistry degree with a 5.5 band. What are the chances for visa? All right, Harshil. Thanks for giving a gist of your profile. Okay, so you seem to have, all right. So yeah, I mean, you should have great work opportunities, given your profile and what you've completed previously. The thing is that, if you have already done a master's, we would also like to offer you a master's course in New Zealand as well, for which you will need an IELTS score of 6.5 with no band less than 6. So, but that's fine. We can probably suggest a lower level course as well. Just leave your number so that we can get a study counselor to get in touch with you, and they can help you out more on this. All right, but yeah, a student visa of course depends on a lot of factors. It's not just your previous qualification or your English language requirements, but they will also gauge your intent, the genuineness of your intent to go and study the course in New Zealand. They often assess that through interviews as well, and that is again something that we give you hours of training on. So yeah, just please do leave your number and we will connect with you about this. Thank you. Prashu has written, how positive are you about border opening? So Prashu, the information that we give you, or my positivity, is actually solely reliant on the information that we are getting, from the New Zealand government as well. So they seem to be positive, and hence we are positive. All right. So yeah, like I'm not sure if you kind of heard the session, and I was talking about the borders opening and stuff. But yeah, the government of New Zealand has suggested that the borders will be opening for international students, early next year. So yeah, that's where my positivity really stems from. All right, I'm going to go back to Facebook now. All right, so we have a question from Mirza Ali, who has said, hi, AGV team, I'm a computer network and systems engineer, currently working in Australia in the same profession since the last 3.5 years as a full-time work experience. I have also got 3 years overseas part-time experience in the same profession, which will make it almost 7 years in total. Moreover, I've got PTE, 19 each module, which will expire next year, December. That's a great score. I had done Masters in Information Technology from Australia and currently working on a temporary resident visa in Australia. Kindly advise for immigration options for New Zealand. My age is 31. Thanks. All right, Mirza, thank you so much for your message. You seem to have an amazing profile, actually. Your occupation falls under the long-term skill shortage list in New Zealand. And like I said, that just automatically means that, there is an ongoing and sustained demand for professionals in your area of expertise. So that's great. Now, as an Australian resident, you can look for a job in New Zealand and work there. But I think you said you're on a temporary visa. So if you are interested in, applying, looking for opportunities in New Zealand, we would love to give you more information on that. But for that, I would require you to leave your number. So if you could do that, we'll be more than happy to assist you further. Thank you. All right, Akshay Raj Sinha has basically stated, is any NZQA planning to give a waiver to English test scores for students intake? Also, will there be any change in EOI threshold? Will it go up or down from 160? Um, all right, Akshay, thank you so much for your question. That's again, a question that is, I think, popping up in the minds of a lot of clients who are planning to, who've either started the process of admissions already or are planning to. Like what needs to be done about the English language test, especially given the circumstances and given that the IELTS test centers, etc., are not really open at the moment. Now, the thing is that no, the Immigration New Zealand is not waiving the requirement for colleges to be satisfied with English language proficiency of students. All right. And so colleges are also not waiving that requirement. However, what they are doing is that they're giving alternative options where you do have some online English tests that you can take and get done, given that you can't really visit the test centers. So they are available online. I think you have the TOEFL online test. You have something called known as a language cert test. There are some institutes even accepting Duolingo. All right. But it is varying from institute to institute. So my advice to you will be to leave your number, get in touch with us so that we can give you the correct advice, because you don't want to end up doing the wrong test, and just wasting your time. All right. So leave your number, get in touch with us, and we'll be able to guide you further around this. Thank you. You've also asked a question. Also, will there be any change in EOI threshold? Will it go up or down from 160? Actually, there has been no news around that. So as of now, it remains 160, and in the foreseeable future as well, unless of course there's some information about it, about its likelihood to change. Right. So I hope that answered your question. All right, Am has come back saying that I'm willing to your agriculture related information with your superior guidance. Am, thank you so much for sharing your number. And, like I promised, we will get in touch with you and guide you to the best of our abilities. Thank you. Saurav has written, hi ma'am, my wife is doing hospitality level 8 course. Her study will finish end of this year. She has a visa till March 2021. After finishing her study, how many days before she can apply a post-study work visa? Thanks. Saurav, thank you so much. I would really recommend you to leave your number or get in touch with us. We do have a lot of licensed immigration advisors on our team. We have, in fact, an office in Hamilton itself. All right. So if you're anywhere nearby, or even if you're not, you can just, give us a call. I'll also share the New Zealand toll-free number, which is 0800 All right, and we will be happy to guide you around this. But from what I can tell you, it's about 3 months from the expiry of the student visa. All right. So that's something you can keep in mind. But like I said, just these are, of course, difficult times. Instructions are changing. It's important to kind of be aware of the latest updates and not end up breaching your visa conditions or not end up getting unlawful. And that is why it's really important to engage with licensed advisors. We do take a lot of accountability, for your visa status as well. So I would definitely recommend you to call on the number that I just listed out, and we'll be happy to help you out. All right, so we have a question from Numal. How can I get admission to Doctor of Business Administration? Numal, please share your number, and my team will connect with you and provide you with guidance around that. Thank you. All right, we have some questions repeated from the YouTube page. Suranga has written, hello, I'm from Sri Lanka. Hi, Suranga. Thank you so much for joining in on the live session today. We have had a lot of Sri Lankan clients who are, in fact, very dear to us. So it would be great if you could also, join the bandwagon, and we'll be happy to help you out with whatever queries you may have. So if you like today's session, or if you think that, you would like to kind of work with us, then leave your contact details and we will get in touch with you. Satish has written, hi, what 2 years master's course available in New Zealand? Satish, there are a lot of 2 years master's courses available in New Zealand. It entirely depends upon your profile. And, that's why we have like a team, a great team of study counselors who are trained, to assess your profile and advise you on the best possible course that not only will, add value to your past experience, but will also help you with your residency. So if you are interested in understanding what options are available to you, I would recommend you to leave your number so we can get in touch with you. Okay, great that Emmanuel has brought this topic up, which I'm just going to be talking about because I did want to spend the last 10 minutes talking about that. So Emmanuel has written, you did mention in your last live session about, that one can take a course online for now during this pandemic and later study on campus when borders are open. Is it still available? So that just brings me to, what I actually wanted to talk about in the last 10 minutes of this session, which is basically the online to on-campus programs that a lot of institutes have come up with. All right. Now, these courses, there are a lot of these courses and they are being offered by a variety of institutes. All right. So primarily how it works is that you will be required to do a part of the course online, at the moment during the pandemic situation. And once, it'll probably be about 30 credits or so. And once the borders open, you can go into the country. Whenever the borders open, you can go into the country and, the institutes will ensure that you spend at least 30 weeks in the country studying the course full time, which will also then guarantee the post-study work visa. All right. So I'll just go into, what are the benefits of actually doing an online course. Number one, of course, you do not require a student visa to do the course online. So you can start right away. All right. There are, colleges which have intake starting now in July, August, and they're providing, they're offering these online courses. So you don't require a student visa for it. So you can pretty much start right away. All right. Like I mentioned, by the time the borders open, you would have done a part of your course. So that just means that you will complete your course in lesser time as opposed to starting the course from the beginning once you arrive in New Zealand. All right. Another benefit is that colleges are offering discounts on the tuition fees, for the part of the course that you're doing online. Another benefit, of course, is that you can do it in the comfort of your home, and you'd probably not even have to leave your job that you're currently working in. So that's great. You can do your work and simultaneously you can be studying the course. All right. So you don't really have much to lose as well. Another factor to keep in mind is that the classes, because this is another question that a lot of students had been asking us, it is basically that the classes will be taking place keeping in mind the Indian timings. So it's not going to be at some obscene hour. They will keep in mind the Indian timings and classes will be held accordingly. All right. Another great thing about pursuing or starting the course online is that you will also save majorly on living expenses. All right. So that's something that I think is a huge incentive and something that you should definitely keep in mind. So overall, I think there's a lot of cost saving. All right. Another factor to keep in mind is that even if your student visa is not approved, all right. So of course, I mean, you'll do the course online. Once you're done with that, and once the borders are opening again, before you come into the country, you will have to apply for your student visa. All right. Now, suppose that student visa is not approved. You will still get a certificate recognizing the credits for the qualification that you've completed, and this is also internationally recognized. All right, so you will still have the credits for that. You will still get a certificate from the college recognizing that, so there's nothing to really worry about. Though personally, I do believe that starting the course online will only help add value to your student visa. All right. The immigration officer, in my opinion, I have also been an immigration officer. So talking from experience, the immigration officer will definitely think twice before declining your application because you've already shown a genuine intent to pursue your studies, right? Another factor is that, of course, it may also help in upskilling you for the work that you're presently undertaking in the home country, right? And most importantly, of course, the institutes will structure your course in a way that ensures that you spend 30 weeks in New Zealand completing the remainder of the course, thereby securing your post-study work visa. All right. Now, some institutes are also allowing you to, test the course for a while before paying the fees. So each institute, of course, has its own different policies, but broadly speaking, these are some of the benefits that you could potentially derive from starting your course online. All right. I'm just going to list out a few of the colleges that are offering these programs. So if you could just give me a second. Right. So you do have some, really renowned universities who have started this. Basically, University of Canterbury is one of them. There are programs starting on 31st August 2020, and I'm just going to list out the programs. There is a Masters of Business Information Systems, the Master of Business Management, Master of Financial Management, Master of Professional Accounting. All right. If you're interested in any of these, definitely get in touch with us now because we would have to start the enrollment process. There is also University of Waikato programs. Students are starting in this month itself, actually July 2020. It includes Master of Education, Master of Education Leadership, Engineering Practice, Masters of IT, Masters of Business Management, Masters of Digital Business, Masters of Management Studies. All right, those are some of the courses. There's also NMIT. All right. Programs will again be offered online and they're starting soon. So there is a graduate diploma in information technology. There is postgraduate certificate in applied management, postgraduate diploma in applied management. There is also PIHMS, which specializes in hospitality courses. So they are offering the postgraduate diploma in hotel management, which is a level 8 course in July and September 2020. Then you have Toya Homai as well, offering a variety of courses, in early childhood education, in management, in infection risk, health and rehabilitation. There is also WIT, which is offering courses in, graduate diploma in engineering highways, New Zealand diploma in business, construction management, mechanical engineering, etc. All right. So all of these institutes are offering this, method of studies. So if that is something that interests you, I would recommend all of you to just get in touch with us immediately because, we would have to begin the process right away. And like I said, this is going to save you a lot of time as well and a lot of costs too. So if that's something that you're looking for, then definitely get in touch with us, leave your number, and we'll be happy to assist you with it. All right. All right. Aman has written, hello, any change in rules for post-study work visa? Study 1 year masters. How many years work visa will I get? Is there any change in immigration rules? Aman, there is no change in the post-study work visa for people who are completing a master's course, which is great. And that's why we encourage you all to enroll in master's courses because there's a lot of benefits attached with it. All right. So you will still get your 3 year post-study work visa. You do not need to worry about that. You've also said that many people are discouraging for studies in New Zealand, stating that the job market is not great. Will it be difficult for Indians or migrants to get jobs in New Zealand? Aman, like I said, we only talk from experience. We have an onshore team as well, and they are pretty much dealing with clients of ours who have pursued a course in New Zealand, and then they're helping them with their work visas and their residence visas. And our team has given the feedback that none of our students have had any issue in finding themselves a job or applying for residency. All right, so we are only talking from experience. We have not personally faced that issue with any of our clients. I think what really matters is for the client to go for a course that suits his profile and that can actually lead to residency. And sometimes, if you approach certain agencies, they might just end up pushing you for a course that wouldn't really get you anywhere or wouldn't really get your career anywhere, right? So that's something that's really important, and that's why you should engage with someone who's really well trained in the art of suggesting courses. And yeah, so all I can say is that just leave your contact details and we can help you out and guide you in the best possible way. And hopefully things will work out well as well. All right. We have a question from Actually, before I get into that, Ankit just kind of continued from what I was saying right now. Aman, this is just for you, and you could also just see the message from Ankit, who is one of our clients. And Ankit just stated that I agree there about taking accountability and looking after their clients. Got a call from AJB last week about whether I will require any assistance to file for my post-study work visa. All right, so that just kind of is reiteration of what I was just saying. We do take good care of our clients. We often organize client meetings as well. We try our best to engage with them. If some of them are not feeling too great or feeling homesick, we try and interact with them. So that's something that we do. For us, it is a long lasting relationship, and it's not simply about just sending you there for a course and then leaving you to fend for yourself. It's not really like that. So yeah, I think Ankit Vagela just summed it up really well. And Ankit, hi there. Hope you're doing really well. All right. We have a question from Sandun, who's written, hi, if one of us had an open work visa, can my partner apply for a work visa at this time around? Yeah, Sandun, if you have an open work visa, then your partner should also be able to apply for a work visa. All right. It would be great though if you could leave your number so we can get in touch with you and get more information about your profiles and everything. And yeah, then we'd be happy to assist you with that. All right, we have another question from Sarlia, who's written, do we have social work course for master's degree? And if we have, do we have good future? I think, the future for social workers is considerably fine. You do have a lot of course options. I think you do have a master's of social work course available at University of Canterbury and University of Waikato. However, you may need registration as a social worker. So, in order to give the best course suited to your profile and one that perhaps leads to registration, I would request you to just leave your number so we can connect with you. All right, Chetan Surya has written, for PR consulting and SMC pathway, I heard from one of AJV's advisors it is chargeable. I need to know how SMC pathway works before consultation. Chetan, thank you so much for your message. All right, so it's really important as clients to be aware of your own responsibilities as well. All right. There might be education agents out there who may be willing to just give you advice about residence, but they are not supposed to do that. All right, they can be held, they can be prosecuted for it, basically. To put it bluntly. All right, so it's really important that you get this advice from a licensed immigration advisor itself. And because of that this is also something that I was actually mentioning in my live session. Yes, we do have initial consultations, and you will have to book an appointment with us, but that is how most licensed immigration advisors operate. All right, so it is a consultation, in fact, that I feel you will find worthwhile, because it's not just SMC that we talk to you about, but pretty much about any pathway that would suit your profile. All right, so you can go to our website, and you can kind of get a brief of what that consultation entails as well, and hopefully we will then be able to provide you with more information around it. Otherwise, Chetan, I would also recommend you to just watch this session again. I'm not sure if you just entered, but if you would just watch this session again, I think you will also get a fair bit of an idea about how the SMC process works. So yeah, that's something that might help you. All right, I think all right, time is up, but I'll see if I can answer any more question. Okay, there's one last thing that I would probably want to address, which Jobin Thomas has kind of brought to the fore, which is, are there any rule changes for essential work visas? So coming to that, actually, yes, there is a bit of a change in essential work visas, all right, which is something that in fact recently came into play as well. All right. So earlier, the occupations, for essential skills actually used to be divided into high, mid and low skill jobs on the basis of a combination of the pay that is being offered to the client and the ANSCO level of their job. But now the combination of ANSCO and salary to assess the skill level is being replaced with a simple remuneration threshold. All right. And that is aligned to the national median wage, which is 25.50 New Zealand dollars. So now the remuneration basically will be the primary factor used to determine the duration of the visa, the kind of engagement required by the employer as evidence that the labor market test is met, and whether the person holding the essential skills work visa can support a partnership based work visa or not. All right. So the median wage is basically 25.50 New Zealand dollars per hour. If you're getting paid below that, you're likely to actually get a 6-month visa, and you can only support a partner on a visitor visa. And the employer will also be required to engage with MSD or the Ministry of Social Development and provide a skills match report. All right. While if your pay is at or above the median wage, the visa duration can go up to 3 years. You can support your partner on a work visa as well, and the checks for the labor market test will also be less stringent. So I hope that clarifies. It's just a short bit of a brief on the changes that are likely to come into force for essential skills work visas. I think another thing that my team just wanted me to quickly mention is that there is the New Zealand immigration basically did state that there will be a new work visa coming in, which will replace about 6 temporary work visas, all right, that presently exist, including the essential skills work visa, silver fund, and the talent accredited work visa as well. All right. So I just wanted to let you all know that this is not impacting the post-study work visa or the skilled migrant category resident visa. It's just a disclaimer. So as of now, they have said that it's not going to impact those two things. So there is nothing to worry about. And of course, changes do continuously take place. In the immigration industry, it is a very dynamic industry. But that's why it's important for you to engage with licensed advisors like us so we can guide you right through it. All right. Now, with that, unfortunately, I will have to end the session today as time is up. But we will be live again next week to answer any of the remaining questions that you guys have. And so see you, take care, and stay safe. And see you next time.